Hey everyone, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, with another reseller interview, late night talk show. Today we have Landshark picker Craig. Craig, you want to give a brief introduction?
Sure. Hey, my name's Craig, Landshark picker. Been doing YouTube for about 3-4 months now. Been reselling full time since April of last year. Have a history of doing reselling. I sold on eBay back in 97, 98 for a couple of years. Selling, parting out laptops way back. Kind of took a break while I was working full time in the workforce. Like I said, lost my job in April, and when I lost my job in April, I was already selling part-time. So it was easy to kind of just flow right into the full-time arena. I had to change my mindset a little bit, but that's about it. I've got my full-time job was in the IT industry. I've been a programmer for about 20 years. So
that explains your enthusiasm for the app.
Yep. I sell on Amazon, eBay. eBay is my primary platform, but I've got a good bit of stuff at Amazon. Not like not a huge inventory, but a decent amount on Amazon. But I also do a little Macari, a little Poshmark, and Facebook Marketplace.
Cool. That's an awesome bio definitely there. And we're going to dive into the old days, I guess, because I didn't realize that you did some eBay back in the day. I did eBay around 95, 96 when it first started, and it was such a weird site. It was kind of like a blog page almost, and there was there was competing auction houses. There was like you bid or I bid, or there was something.
You bid was out there. Yahoo had a big auction site at the time.
Yep, I did a lot of Yahoo back in the day for sure. So let's kind of pull the pages back here. When did you get started in the early days? Like what basically brought you to eBay in the 90s? What led up to that?
That's a good question. I've always worked in the technical space, computers, programming, hardware, all that, and was a shopper and was a buyer, on eBay. When it first opened up, we did a lot of, back then it wasn't like it was today. You're not getting just millions and millions of users hitting eBay looking for items. It was really just getting going. So we were doing a lot, just more browsing and looking at items and, stuff like that. But that was kind of where I started, and kind of the laptop parting out kind of came on it by mistake. I've always known about hardware. A buddy of mine were at a thrift store right here locally, and saw a laptop. It was a little Gateway. It was inexpensive. It was like $15. I'm like, let's just buy it. So I'll pay for it. We'll take it home, see if it works. He was looking for a computer. Got it home, and the screen was cracked.
Oh, right.
I'm like, well, not a lot of value here. We almost threw it out. And I was like, well, hold on, let me go look on eBay and see what this thing is selling for. Well, the whole thing wasn't selling for like $30.
Right.
But I started looking at it, and the screen, even not working, was like $30. The keyboard was $20. The power supply was $20. So we were like, hey, there's a business model here.
Yep.
So when we first got into it, we were using eBay as our source. We would get out on eBay and buy laptops that were advertised as broken, dead, cracked screens. I would pay up to $40 or $50 for a machine and turn $400 or $500 off of it.
Yeah, that industry's blown up over the last few years, especially parts. There's so many areas like not home goods, but like electronics and things that you can part out.
Right.
I'm always taking the power supplies from things that are like thrown out or something like that and looking them up and seeing how much the power supplies go for. What's funny is I'm into cryptocurrency, and you talk about laptops, and
Right.
I know for sure we're going to hear this news story one day where someone's going to buy a laptop at a garage sale or a thrift store and find Bitcoin, like their wallet with their, they're going to have to get their password and everything, but maybe someone was, I don't want to say dumb enough to put their password in a notepad file along with their,
you can go ahead and say dumb enough, because they would be dumb.
or with their WT file, their wallet file or whatever it is, right. And then you're going to hear it on the news one day where someone's going to find $1 million worth of Bitcoin on someone's machine. So that's funny that you say that. Are you into cryptocurrencies at any?
I haven't really done much with it. I've always been fascinated with it, but have just never jumped into it very much. I had a friend that spun up not a cluster, but whatever you call it, a farm. And
like a mining farm.
Yeah, he did it for about 6 months and gave up on it. I don't know how a lot of that stuff is how efficient you can be with your power utilization and all that stuff. And he just wasn't making the kind of money he thought he would. But
Yeah.
It's funny you say talking about what would be left on a laptop. Anytime I buy one, I'd plug the hard drive in because I would sell the hard drive as well. I'm like, I'm looking for MP3. Back then it was MP3s, was music, you know, so I would spend just, I had an ungodly, I had terabytes of MP3s just from laptops. But people left tax return, not that I would do anything with it, but
Sure.
tax returns, personal documents, family pictures.
I always do that, and it's funny because I buy phones and things like that sometimes, and I'm amazed how much personal information is left on these machines.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that happens where somebody has a laptop and they think it's dead, it won't turn on. Just donate it to the thrift store or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're picking it up, and all you got to do is get a new charger for it, and it fires right up.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've purchased things from the thrift stores that it was as simple as getting a new battery pack or something as simple,
Yep.
or or some of the times it's like they put one of the things I found this, like, I don't even know what it was called. It was like a electronic harpsichord or whatever it was, and it was going for like $200 or $300 on eBay, and it was marked broken for $5, and literally someone put the batteries in backwards. So that's
Wow.
why when they were testing it, it was like they thought it was broken, so they said broken for parts, and all you needed to do was literally just flip that over. So that's pretty
Right. A
funny.
lot of that kind of stuff gets overlooked. You
Yeah.
know.
So is there any actually, so for those that are out there, is there any valuable stuff that's on laptops? I mean, you can't really sell MP3s or anything, but um I guess just the parts, right, would be something that would be of value.
Yeah. I've never done anything with software, you know, especially during that time frame, you know, but just hardware stuff, really. When I was really into it, I mean, like I said, I bought things as cheap as like $10 or $15, but that was back when, you know, you got best offer now on eBay. Back then, you know, a lot of the stuff was auction style,
Yep.
and you still could contact the buyer even though you hadn't bid. So I would go out and I would make these lowball offers. The offers that as a seller I hate to get these days, you know. And I would say, hey, I see that you've got this whatever, this Dell laptop, and you're asking, you know, nobody's bid on it. Would you take $20 for it? And they say, yeah, sure. I said, okay, here's the process. I'm going to be the highest bidder. I'm going to bid $20. And all you have to do is go in to your seller hub or whatever it was called back then and say in the auction and make the highest bidder the winner. And
Right.
I would buy 4, 5, 6 laptops a day.
Jeez.
Just had a constant stream of them coming in.
I remember a time, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought like you had to, if you had an auction going, you had to remove all the bids before you can cancel it. Do you remember that? Was that something that
I
was?
don't remember that because I know some of them, they already had bids on them, and I would be, you know, I would go ahead and bid, and then they would just be able to end the auction. It was just like you went out to the right, and it was like a pull down, and you said end auction, and you know, and I think it came up with something that said make the highest bidder the winner or something.
Maybe that was like just back in the day. Were you around when there was no PayPal and you had to go and get postal money orders and stuff like that?
I remember when PayPal came out. That had to have been 97-ish.
Yeah.
If I had to
Yeah.
guess, I know I did some money orders and checks and cash.
Yeah, for those that don't know, there was no PayPal, so you literally had to just accept personal checks, which was kind of a no-no. You learned the hard way on that one. Or, you know, you'd go to get a postal money order, which is like an official, it's almost like cash. You can literally take a postal money order and cash it out for cash. So, and also, I don't know if you knew this, you can actually use it towards shipping too. Like it was like literally cash that USPS took off. Do you remember anything else for the old days?
I am so thankful for my little thermal printer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Back then it was, you know, I was using a lot. I was shipping like LCD screens. I was still using the USPS priority boxes, but it was handwriting every address, going to the counter, paying retail, which back then eBay didn't really offer integrated shipping. You couldn't go in and buy shipping if I remember right.
Yeah. Yep, you had to go wait in the damn line, and there was no even kiosks. And where are you from located?
I'm in Alabama,
Okay.
just south of Birmingham.
Gotcha. Do they have the kiosks there at your USPS?
We do. I've got a post office that's like 5 minutes away, and most people go up and wait in line. I've used it once or twice, not with anything eBay, but
Yeah. because I know that some people don't have those, and it saves so much time. I mean, I don't use them. I have a ShipStation, and I've been using stamps.com for like 15 years whenever it first came out, and then it turned into ShipStation like a
Right.
year ago, and I've been using that. Do you use any kind of software to ship, or do you ship through eBay like a
Just
lot of
straight
people
through
do?
eBay, unless I find something that I know is going to go cubic, and I use Pirate Ship.
Yeah, so, for me, it doesn't make business sense for a lot of people to pay a monthly subscription. I think it's like $25 for that particular service, but I ship a lot of stuff that's not through eBay, so it's easier for
Right.
me to kind of, um it's nice because you can hub all your businesses together and everything shows up on one single thing. It's actually really
Oh,
cool.
really?
So
That's
it's
cool.
worth, yeah, it's worth the $25 a month, for sure for me. Man, dude, like eBay and back in the day, I remember because I got first into baseball cards, I had to scan everything on a flatbed scanner, like
I used a
digital.
Polaroid camera back then sometimes.
No kidding. Yeah, exactly. Like, so there was like digital cameras were like just coming out and they were like so expensive. You really couldn't
Yep.
afford it. And even getting webcams and things like that were super crazy. So yeah, I had to like scan everything in. And do you remember any of the difficulties when you first started? Like, what were some of your major challenges?
Um, today some of the challenges, taking good pictures now is, really a big focus. And back then it was, I didn't have a 18 bazillion megapixel camera that was stuck in my pocket, 24
Right.
hours a day. But it was throw an item on the table and well, actually, truthfully, you want the truth? Back then, I don't even think I took pictures.
Oh, did
I
you
don't
like
think I
take?
took pictures. I went to items that had sold and copied somebody's pictures,
Yeah.
and I copied their description.
Yeah, that used to piss me off all the time because I would spend so much time on scanning like the front of a card and the back of a card, and then someone would just go and just steal my photos.
Right. And then, knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't do that now, but
Oh, I mean, it was you were just doing a shortcut. I mean, it makes sense, and I remember I don't know if it was Yahoo or eBay used to get really crazy about that and used to be able to, if you can prove that it was your original photo, they would like remove the listing. Do you remember
right.
that?
Yeah, I do. I never had any problems. That market really, the parting out, laptop parts and stuff like that really got flooded after I did it for about a year.
Gotcha.
And it got flooded. I was doing real well. I mean, we were doing like 10, 12,000 a month in sales. And it got to the point we'd bought one big truckload, not a truckload, but about a pallet worth of stuff.
Right.
Moved that, and about 6 months later, the people that were buying it by the truckload came in. They were just slashed prices.
Yeah, yeah, because like, I mean, I've bought parts for my laptop before, and it's crazy how you can literally search for like the number 9 key on a keyboard for
Yeah.
your specific
Oh yeah.
laptop. It's gotten that crazy. How have you evolved over the years from those days in the '90s to now? I know there was a gap. There was a gap in
Right.
between, right?
There was a pretty big gap. Like I said, getting better with pictures, because that's, especially these days with if I had to guess, 85% of buyers are buying on the mobile platform.
Yeah, I
So
noticed
getting
that.
better at pictures, getting better at titles, and and item specifics. If 80+ % of the buyers are buying from mobile, they're not looking at a description. That's one more tap away. So really just concentrating on those kind of things. When I first started actively reselling about 2.5 years ago, when I was doing it part time, it was primarily getting ramped up with my lighting kit, just getting back into that swing of things. But yeah, just really concentrate on good pictures and titles and item specifics, outside of the normal, technology differences between 15 years ago and now.
Yeah, the algorithms have changed, and with promoted listings and the
Yeah.
Markdown Manager and this and that. I mean, when I was actually training an employee the other day who's doing eBay with us, and my main focus was to be like, you need to have good title and good photos, and I mean just a brief description, and literally that's all you really need to do. And of course, having products that uh that sell, because we all have
Right.
that stuff that just sits and stuff. What are your favorite things to sell?
Um, Probably two categories: electronics, obviously the vintage stuff, but I sell a lot of combo units, VCRs. I've got a stack of probably 15 sitting over here right in front of me that I need to work on. But I also like sports stuff. You mentioned sports cards. I started collecting baseball stuff in 1980. So that's just something that's in my mind. I don't keep up with a lot of the newer stuff, but sports in general, I've got a pretty good mind for.
Yeah.
So I enjoy finding that stuff, but I'm not afraid to sell anything. I've always told myself I didn't want to get into clothing, but a lot of my clothing, I mean, clothing is what's kind of keeping me afloat right now. You know, you're not going to sell a combo unit every day.
Exactly.
So you got to have that filler stuff, and but electronics and sporting goods stuff is.
So that's, yeah, because you have a familiarity with those kind of things, and I think that's where we all start is usually. And I feel bad for the people that are brand new that don't have any kind of hobbies or anything that they're specialized in, because you literally got to learn from the ground up. Definitely, for sure. Did you sell any baseball cards or anything like that
Not
back in the day,
online.
or no?
Not online. I'm trying to think. I got the 92, 93. So prior to eBay, probably 92, 93-ish, which was a terrible time for the card industry. Looking back at it,
Oh,
late
yeah.
80s, early 90s, it was just mass produced more so than normal. And
Yep.
I was buying stuff. I was in between a collector and a dealer, somewhere right in the middle. I would go and set up at shows and make a few dollars, and we had a local flea market. I'd get a booth every now and then. I think it was just an excuse to support my habit.
Yeah, that's too funny, because that's when I started. I was 6 when I started reselling cards. They were Garbage Pail Kids. I was 8 when I had my first booth at a flea market. And so when I talk about sports cards, it really brings back all the memories and just being so young and just learning. And it was kind of funny because, the older guys would come by and see like an 8-year-old and think like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this kid. He doesn't know like anything. And I would literally read those Beckett's like they were Bibles, man. And I knew like my cards back and forth. And it's crazy to see, people will call me or let me know like, oh my God, there's like 10,000 baseball cards here, and they're all 1988 tops, which is like pretty much worth.
I've got tubs this size full of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're not even worth the paper they're printed on anymore. So it's kind of sad and and all that stuff. So how's your sourcing? What is your sourcing situation like?
Sourcing situation, primarily I've got 2 primary thrift stores that are right here within 5 to 10 minutes. They're actually between our house and where my son goes to school. I drop him off at school every morning, and then I'll hit those 2 stores typically. Birmingham, I'm probably 15, 20 minutes south of Birmingham proper, downtown Birmingham. And if you go about halfway between me and downtown Birmingham and draw a 30-mile radius around the city of Birmingham, there's like 15 thrift stores.
Oh, no kidding. Are they all like mom and pops, or are they like the Goodwill?
Most of them are big box type stores. There's a couple of individually owned. But some days, maybe once a week, I'll go out there and make that loop and just hit every one of them. Spend an hour or so in each one. I don't do that often. I haven't hit that loop probably in about 2 months.
Yeah. So what are you doing for now for your sourcing now?
Primarily just the 2 thrift stores. I hit auction, some online stuff as often as I can. I haven't made any big purchases lately with that. This past weekend, we had a couple of estate sales and yard sales with our weather. Weather got a little bit nicer here. It turned cold again today, but I'm hoping that'll start ramping up in the next couple of weeks. We're getting a lot of rain, so it's hard to really have a lot of yard sales, but there's still estate sales out there.
Yeah. So speaking of yard sales and estate sales, do you do a lot of estate sales where you're at, or do they have them?
They do have them. Usually they'll kick off on a Friday. Some of them on Thursday, very few on Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A lot of them are run. We've got about 3 companies in our area. It's this type situation. I don't know how it is at in your area or anybody else's. You get in that situation where you show up an hour before it starts and there's already 80 people lined up.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I have no patience for that. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to be picking through stuff with 8 million people around me, and we're fighting. Take a number, and 5 people can go in at once. I'm like, I'm not about that.
Yeah, that's no fun. I haven't gone to a ton of estate sales, but the ones I've gone to are just literally the ones you just walk up to the door and walk through the door. The 80 people one.
Oh yeah.
I've never dealt with that. I dealt with that once where I was like maybe 5th in line, and it was crazy. But Yeah, man, estate sales are nuts. So would you say like weather for the most part's like pretty normal where you're at?
Yeah, we get during the summer we stay, upper 80s, low 90s. Just depends. We get cold weather probably December to February, early March. Not cold like I'm up in the Northeast cold, but
Right.
it was in the low here today was probably in the upper 30s, low 40s, and that's cold to me.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm from like outside of Los Angeles, man, and anything below 60 is like freezing for us here,
Yeah.
for sure. So, have any of your, do you have any hobbies, or has any of your hobbies bled into your reselling career?
Um, the sports card thing,
The
I'm
sports card
always
thing?
on the lookout for that kind of stuff. 90% of the time when I pick up a box to look through it, it's like you said, 88 tops. I'm like, or 89 score, something I'm like garbage. I'm not wasting my time with that. That's really about the only hobby. I play a game called pickleball. I don't know if it's big out there.
Oh, remind me what that is
It
again.
is a combination of tennis, badminton, and ping pong.
Oh, wow. I've heard of that before, but I don't know exactly what it is. So
It,
are you on?
it hasn't bled into my reselling business, but it's a really cool sport. It's very addictive. I've played with 21-year-olds and I've played with 69-year-olds,
Yeah.
and on the same court. It's a really fun game.
So that's funny. So run me through that real quick. So is it a field and it's got like a
It
net?
You play it on a court that's just like a tennis court,
Uh,
same surface, same type net, but you can actually play it on one half of a tennis court. It's
ah,
lined off very similar to a tennis court. Rules are a lot the same. You play with I don't even have my paddle. It's out in the car. Play with a paddle that's about this big, got a handle on it. It's got like a plastic type surface, and you play with a wiffle ball.
gotcha. Now, could you go to like Big Five and buy a pickle paddle or no?
You can go to Dick's Sporting Goods has them. I ordered mine online, got it off Amazon, I think, but
How funny.
it's an addictive game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but I never knew exactly what it was. So I
It, it,
actually want to take a look into that. Sounds
yeah,
interesting.
it's been around since like the '60s, I think. So
That's
it's not a
too.
new sport, but it's one of the fastest growing sports in the States.
That's great. That's great. So, some of your eBay business, do you do the promoted listings or the markdown manager?
I, I I do promotions. I've gotten to the point where it just depends on how cash flow is.
Right.
I don't want to represent that I'm out here making millions of dollars doing this. I'm not. You know,
I really
um,
don't think anyone is, to be
right.
honest.
Well, I'm not even making a comfortable living. I'm struggling.
Right. Right.
It is what it is. But I do. Depending on if I got a big bill coming up and I want to move some merchandise, I'll turn on a promotion. I've gotten to the point where I'll let new items sit for a month before I do any promotion on them.
Right.
Try and get my full asking price at least for a month. And then I'll do 25% off, something like that. And when I've got new items, they usually sit, and I'm starting to offer free shipping on my newer items.
Oh, no kidding.
Anything that doesn't have free shipping, I know has been out there for a while, and that's
I
why I do
see.
my
So
25, 35, whatever percent, trying to just move stuff that's been around for a while. I've been back and forth with the promoted listings. Currently, I'm just doing 1% across the board.
yeah, what's funny is I was running a test because I really wish I remember the YouTuber's name. He was a guy in New York. He's a crazy taxi guy or something like that. And he was suggesting that everyone should just set those promoted listings to a 1% because
Right.
it's literally nothing and it's better than not doing anything. And it literally will bump like a majority of your listings up. And I've been trying that, and that actually works.
Yep.
And so I was just curious how you did it. And it's kind of funny that you put free shipping on your thing, so you have a visual like, okay, that's new because it has free shipping.
Right.
That's
And I bounce back and forth. I think I'm gonna stick with the free shipping. Originally, when I first started 2.5 years ago, I was doing everything free shipping. But then I started selling some of these combo units, and and I have best offers on 90% of my stuff. And if I'm in that bind of wanting to sell something, I take a lower offer on those, and all of a sudden I'm eating shipping. So on heavier items, I tend to do calculated shipping like those.
yeah,
Do that, or I'll price them up higher to compensate for, if I'm gonna ship something to you, if I'm gonna ship one of those to you, it's gonna cost me $25 to ship. So I mark
right.
it up $25 and just say free shipping.
So what you said that you do like best offer on 90% of your items. What kind of items that you do that you wouldn't do a best offer on?
Just something I just have a feel for that I think, I'm maybe some of the lower dollar items, it's not much margin,
I see. Something that
onesie,
you
twosie
just
little things. I end up, I don't buy a lot at auctions, but if I go buy a big lot of items and I feel like I've got to list everything that I just bought. So I
right.
end up with a lot of $10, $12 items with free shipping. I'm making $4 or $5 on it. I'm not going to turn on an offer on that and take a $3 offer on a $12 item.
Yeah, that I always wonder like some of the kind of thoughts that goes into why everyone does what they do. So that's actually really interesting. Some of the things for myself is I things that I know that'll sell really fast at that price. I'll do that. Or like if I don't want to be bothered by like a ton of people sending lowball offers, because I
Right.
do have items like that where people will it's like a high in demand, but it's like they will lowball you, like there's these cards or whatever. But I always wondered, like, what was the mentality that goes into doing that. So that's that's pretty good. What has been your best pick over the years that you can remember?
Um, Probably the most profitable came from an online auction. We've got an auction house here that does a lot of municipality auctions, schools, city municipalities like police stations, things like that. And that's one of the auction sites I keep my eye on and look pretty much on every day, just seeing if there's new auctions. And like I said, I've got an IT or computer background, and I saw a pallet. It wasn't a tall pallet, it wasn't full stacked, 2 feet high. It was a pallet of networking equipment.
Mm,
And anybody knows anything about networking equipment, Cisco is the big name in that business.
right.
And I think Cisco's out your way.
Yep.
But
Silicon Valley.
90% of what they have is got a green case to it. And then I saw probably 15 or so, maybe 20 pieces of Cisco equipment. And I don't know if anybody does auctions, it's sorry for the dog.
It's all good.
You're always terrible pictures. It's fuzzy. They don't give a lot of detail. I looked at it. I'm like, I know that's a valuable piece. I'm like, I think I spent $90 on this pallet. And I sold 2 high-end Cisco switches that were, I think I got $7.99 a piece for them.
Oh, wow.
And that's not $7.99.
That's we know that's
So
800
2 of
bucks.
those, the same person. I had 2 of them that were the step back from that same type model, just smaller number of ports. I think I got $4.99 a piece for them. I think I turned about $3,000 off that $90.
Wow.
So
And that just shows you like how just knowing and experiencing your life. Like I had a lot of jobs in my life and I pulled something that I can use in reselling. And since you're into IT, of course you're going to know a lot more about that stuff than your average Joe's going to know. So that's actually really good. That's actually really cool, man. And
yeah.
so you said there were switchers. Is that like that's not like a server, right? That's just something that you can plug
It's a switch. So if you're sitting in an office working in an office and you're sitting there at the computer and you're hardwired in, you've got a network cable plugged in, that goes up through the wall and down into a closet, and it plugs into a piece of equipment that's probably 18 inches wide, and it's got a bunch of ports on it, like you'd plug a phone line, like just like a port that you'd plug your phone line into.
So it's like an Ethernet ports.
It's an Ethernet port. And it puts them all and allows all the Ethernet ports to communicate on the network.
Ah.
And then those can be plugged into other switches and wide area networking and all that kind of stuff. But
Gotcha, man. Yeah, so that's great. Do you have any other kind of stories like that where you've had some good picks?
That's been my biggest one. Pretty cool item that I found recently. Again, on the sports memorabilia side. Sold a batting helmet. It was from the Olympics back in 2000, whatever year it was. I don't remember what year it was. I have to look back at my listing, but it was a batting helmet, and it had the autographs for the whole team from the women's softball.
Oh, okay.
I think I paid $6.99 for it at my thrift store, and I think I got $120 for it.
Wow. Yeah. And like, so this was at just a local thrift store, and you saw the autographs on them?
Yep. And it's not like it was an autograph, an NFL autograph or something that I know I would have to worry about getting authenticated.
Right.
People aren't out there,
Yeah,
giving out
they're not
fake
forging.
women's softball
Yeah,
autographs.
that's too funny. Like, I do a lot of authenticating for my job, and some of the that's could be some of the difficult things is doing, like figuring out if it's real or not, because there are a lot of fakes, but you're right, people are usually going to fake Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle.
They're gonna fake something that's gonna make them money.
Exactly, no. No one's faking the 2006 women's softball
Yeah.
team.
Well, and another thing that kind of added into it is they had come to Birmingham for part of the Olympics, like a
Right,
trial or whatever they call it. So I knew that it was from an event that they had held here.
so that makes total sense. I think one of the stories that I have that's kind of similar to your server switch story is, do you go on shopgoodwill.com to source at
I've,
all?
I've looked a little bit. I haven't had a lot of patience with it. So
Yeah, you have to. I look for specific things that people don't know about, and I was like, I don't know how I got onto looking at like Tonka trucks or something like that, and there was a bunch of Tonka trucks, the little tiny ones, because there used to be, there's the big metal ones,
right.
and there's in the 70s and even in the 60s there was little tiny ones, and so there was a whole lot of those, and they were like all piled in a box. And I remember looking in the box, and because they were like really crappy photos, and I saw Hot Wheel red lines from the
Yep.
60s in packages. There was two of them
Wow.
in there, and I was just like, oh my god. And so what I did is, of course, I waited to the last minute, and someone else must have saw that stuff too, because the bidding got crazy. And I think I ended up paying $400 for that lot.
Right.
And the two Hot Wheels that were in there, one of them was like, in my head, I was like, I can get $400 for this. So I'm going to try to get is that. So I ended up buying it for 400. I sold one of the cars for 400, and I sold the other car for 600.
Wow.
So I made 600 just by knowing what to look for. And nowhere in the auction that it said Hot Wheels or anything like that. And I
Right.
was like, I was praying that they were going to ship it correctly, because they were on card. They were brand new on
Wow.
card. The cards were a little warped and everything, but I was
If
like,
it's from
oh,
the '60s, what condition would you expect?
yeah, exactly. I think it was like 1969 or whatever. And there were some rare colors too. Have you got into Hot Wheels or anything like that?
I haven't. Not much. I mean, if I see them, I would know to look for red line, but that's about all I know to look for.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
do you,
Even
do you know much about them?
Oh yeah, I ran a hobby shop for 3 years, and uh,
There's a guy that's very knowledgeable. I don't remember his name. He's been on 2 shows lately.
yes,
NASCAR man, whatever the number is.
NASCAR man. Yep. And I'm surprised he's
Very knowledgeable.
not in the show right now, because he's been on a few of my live shows the last few days. But yeah, I'm actually trying to get a hold of him, because I think we'd have a good show about diecast. Because I ran a hobby shop for like 3 years, and that's all we sold. We sold diecast cars and bears and dolls. So
Quite the
it's
spread.
kind of funny, but I learned so much about dolls and bears that it's carried over to when I go picking. And I mean, you've been around, dude. So when you go to garage sales, you see stuff that people would probably like, those servers or those
Right.
switchers. You've been around for a while, that you can do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, don't find much of that stuff at yard sales, but auctions and stuff like that. But yard sales, yeah, I've got a pretty good eye for electronics in general.
Yeah.
Um, the VCRs, the combo units, but even just little small. I wish I had something right here to use as an example, but I usually got a pretty good eye for something I at least need to research when it comes to electronics,
Yeah.
phones, stuff like that.
And it's nice enough that the companies, for the most part, on the back will have like a model number or something that you can at least check whatever it is. And testing, it's the harder part, though. Some items, I don't know how people can test some of the items.
Yep, and a lot of times I'll list stuff. I'm not trying to be ambiguous or vague, but I'm not very detailed in my descriptions. But I offer free 30-day returns.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are willing to take that risk on items. I'm not going to go out and say that I tested something if I didn't. You just
Oh,
say, hey, it's
absolutely.
clean. It's in, it's X number of years old, that kind of thing, and just a basic.
Right. And it's so easy. It's so easy just to put untested in your description when you haven't tested it. It makes
Right.
sense, and all that kind of stuff. So you're into electronics. Do you have like kind of like a workstation where you kind of test all your materials, or how do you usually go by testing your electronics?
I've got, I don't have a lot of space to work with.
Yeah.
Everything I do eBay is in my bed, in our bedroom.
Hmm.
I've got a little bit of storage in our garage, but I've got like a lunchroom table up against the wall over there that I take pictures at, and usually when I test something, I just pull all that off and test over there. But I've also got probably a 12 or 13-inch little TV that I use to test with. Keep all the cables. I've got a couple of,
Are you a cable hoarder too?
Yes. I've got, I don't sell a lot of game systems, but the Wii's, the Game Cubes, all that. I've got just extra cable sets back there. So if I ever come across just a console, I grab a cable set, plug it in, test it.
Yep.
And that's probably, $100, $200 worth of cables, resale value if I just sold the cables.
Yep.
But I just know there's gonna be a day where I run into a console and they don't have to come with cables, and they're $3 and I can afford to bring it home and test it.
Yep. I have like tons of those USB cables that plug into pretty much any phone or any kind of camera. I got tons of those. It's one of those things where like, you're a reseller if you have a box full of AC adapters and cables and things like that. I work out of a thrift shop, and I can't tell you how many times I just like, oh, I can't see this go out the door, like, even though we do recycling and stuff like that. So there's a lot of that stuff that goes and gets recycled that I'm pulling out because I'm like, one day I'm going to need this.
If I throw it away today, I'll need it tomorrow.
Exactly. And it's funny because I would literally say 95% of that stuff I've never used yet.
But you will tomorrow. If you throw it away, you'll guarantee that you'll need it.
Exactly. Like I'm big. Go ahead.
I've got one item I've been holding on to for, I think I bought it this past summer, and I've yet to find a power supply for it. The Sling box, which is where you can watch the cable TV over the internet. Yeah. It's just a decent size. It's just got an odd female adapter that goes into it, and I have not been able to find one that'll fit it yet.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, I've got like 99 cents into the unit. It's about a $30 or $40 unit with the right power supply.
But you've also like looked to see how much the power supplies are for it, right?
And then the power supplies are as much as the unit, because people know they're hard to find and they're unique.
Oh my God, that's so funny you say that. There's this dinosaur. It's called Spike the dinosaur. It's this kind of remote control thing from 2006.
That's not the big white. That's not the big white one, is it?
I think it might be the same thing. It's just different colors.
Oh.
I know Spike came in red and green, and I know that it's kind of like Fisher Price. It's around the same thing you're probably talking about. So it's called Spike the Ultra Dinosaur, and my son had it. And when I looked it up, I'm like, he's getting old, we're going to kind of donate a lot of this stuff. And I looked it up and I was like, holy crap. Like the power cable, just the AC adapter was going for $50, like just the AC adapter. And so I was doing retail arbitrage with that for a while on Shop Goodwill and everything. I'd buy complete units,
right,
and then part out that AC adapter and even the battery pack, the controller. So I was getting like $20 for the controller, $20 for the battery pack, $50 for the AC adapter. And he came with other little parts and things that I would sell. So yeah, man, it's like one of those things. I think I don't want to say people sleep on AC adapters, but you find them a lot at garage sales, and people are literally willing to just give them away for a quarter, 50 cents. And I always will get remotes. Do you do the remotes thing too?
I'm not going to go buy just tons of them, but if I find them at the right price, the Yamahas, the Onkyo, some of the higher end brands, I pick up a lot of Sony ones, especially ones that will go with VCRs and combo units, because I know 90% of my combo units I pick up in the thrift stores don't have remotes.
Yep.
Probably the most expensive remote I've sold, was it a Logitech? It's one of the ones that has a little LCD screen on it.
Oh, cool.
It was like a $70 or $80 unit.
Oh, wow. I don't think I've ever sold.
It was really neat. That when you said that dinosaur, I just looked it up. There's a Robo-Raptor is the thing I'm thinking of.
I know what you're talking about.
$70 toy.
Yeah. So Spike, man, it was one of those just side things that as you've been doing this for a while too, where, you have this wheelhouse of things that you're always looking for. Right. And that was back in the day. That's when I haven't done it in a long time. My life's so crazy and busy. I don't have time to be looking at this and that and this and that and this and that, all the time. But that spiked dinosaur, man, I would always look for those things on like Facebook Marketplace or just stuff like that. It's just one of those things. What kind of tips do you have for new sellers that are coming into reselling, if any?
Couple of things I would have to think. Understand shipping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can lose your butt on shit. If you're offering free shipping and all of a sudden here I am in Alabama and you buy my 80-pound item and it's going to cost me more to ship it to you than you bought it for.
Yep.
Start selling things that you know. Start understanding the system, how things flow, how shipping works. That's probably the two biggest things. Start around your house.
Yep.
You can get started really cheap. Don't try and grow real fast.
That's actually really good advice.
Because if you're just learning how the reselling and how online selling works, you can go broke very easily, by making some bad decisions and, trying to grow too quickly and putting all this money in. Hey, everybody has a GoPro. I need to go buy a GoPro. I've got this, don't try and keep up with the Joneses. Just,
yeah, you do you
essentials.
No, that's actually really good advice, because I think that's the major thing. Shipping is understanding how shipping works, because you try to ship a 20-pound item via USPS, it's going to cost you $40 to $60, where you can possibly ship it for way cheaper for UPS ground. And so,
right.
Yeah, you get caught up in all that. You're like, oh, $12.99 shipping, and it's like $30, $40. You're like, damn, I just like, you didn't even make money. You lost money, right, for sure.
And early on, I had that situation happen a couple of times. I'm like, I don't remember what the item was, but, I just miscalculated on an item and not even think about it going to the West Coast from the East Coast. And it never fails. Any heavy item I sell always goes to the West Coast.
Yeah.
90% of the time.
Yep. And it's funny because I've been doing this for years, man, and I still make mistakes all the time. And I forgot to turn off like not APO, but in eBay you could set all your shipping parameters, and I forgot to check the box where it says don't ship to Puerto Rico or something like that. And I had it like I don't know what it was, $12.99 priority, and it literally cost me $40. And I normally have that turned off, but I made a custom one and I forgot to click the box. And you learn in this game knowledge. You can watch these videos, you can read books, you can get knowledge, but wisdom is effing up, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, the big thing is just learning from those mistakes. And I think that's, the key is don't be afraid to make a mistake, because you're going to make a mistake. I make mistakes, you make mistakes, everybody makes, and just learn from them and move on. Talking about Puerto Rico, I've always had pride in trying to maintain 100% feedback. Not that feedback needs a lot, but in my mind, I'm doing my job if I'm staying at 100%. I'm providing good customer service. I'm packing things well. I'm doing good describing my item best I can. I sold a textbook to somebody in Puerto Rico. It went media mail. And media mail is slow already, but media mail in Puerto Rico is definitely slow.
Oh my goodness.
And, I think they were Hispanic speaking.
Right.
More
than likely.
There was a lot of mixed English going back and forth, and it was like 4 or 5 days down the road, and they claimed that they hadn't gotten their item and left negative feedback. Well, I got into the, filed a miss, whatever the thing is on USPS for a missing item or whatever, and immediately showed up, and it was delivered to them 2 days later. And luckily, I got in touch with eBay and was able to have that removed, but that was no fun.
I have that too, where sometimes I drop a lot of my stuff off at the post office, and sometimes they don't scan it in, and it won't even get scanned to the actual point where they're going to get delivered.
Yeah.
And when it's a $500 or $600 item, you start to freak out. And of course, the buyer's freaking out. They're like, and of course there's also scammers. And I would say, like, for those that are new, don't be afraid of scammers, because they're few and far between. I mean, they're out there. There's people that do mail fraud, I don't want to say all the time, but that's out there. I just wouldn't, you shouldn't worry about it. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, does this guy know the mailman? Is he just saying, don't scan it when I get it? Like there's all this crap runs through my head, because I worked in post-production for 15 years. So I've seen all the movies, and like, I got all the movies in my head. Like there's like this big conspiracy going on with the mailman. So I totally hear you.
Matt, talking about that, I've sold a couple of wristwatches. This one I haven't listed yet, but it's probably from the 60s.
Yeah.
Not wristwatch, pocket watch. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
said wristwatch.
It's all good.
I sold one recently. It was about a $400 item. These were items that were in our family. My mom gave them to me, said, just sell them, get what you can.
Yeah.
And sold it, offered 30-day returns. I don't remember where it went. It shipped. I go to check on it the next day. I'm just looking at the tracking, and I just dropped. I didn't even think about it. I went and just dropped it off on the counter at the post office, and it didn't even show a scan a day later.
Yep.
And the next day it didn't show a scan. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, here I'm about to have a $500 return on this item. I've already spent the money, had a bill to pay. And finally on that third or fourth day, they scanned it when they dropped it off.
Yeah.
Because I had put signature required on it.
Yeah. And
that freaked me out.
And I highly suggest anyone who sells stuff. See, okay, now every seller's different. I usually do the signature required if it's over $100. Now that might not make sense for a lot of people, but that's how I do it. And so, do you do the same thing where if you have a high enough item, you do?
Yeah, if it's high enough, I'm probably a little more lenient on that. I'd probably be in the 250 range. I sell a lot of $100 items, but that's I do insurance on them.
Yeah.
But everybody, everybody's tolerance is a little bit different. Everybody's risk profile is a little bit different.
Exactly. Like I've noticed that I think in the years that I've done this, I would say New York was probably like the worst place that I had problem buyers. So whenever I get a New York apartment, I'm always like kind of double checking, and sometimes I'll do that extra signature just in case, because I've never been to New York, but all the problems that I ever had were always in New York, and it was always an apartment. So God knows if they just like put it on the porch, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? So I always, oh man, this is crazy.
Well, I think you just can't let that kind of stuff consume you, though. Just like that negative feedback. My first one, I'm like, I was pissed off for about 3 days. I'm like, I've just got to get over this and move on. It's part of doing business. If it happens, it happens. Same thing with returns. Returns are part of business. It's going to happen. Don't dwell on it. Move on.
That's actually really good advice. And it's funny because you say that is, we've been doing this for a long time. And I think yesterday, someone had a question about like why I charge sales tax. And it for a second there, I was offended because not only did I give them a break on shipping, I gave them a break on the item, and then they go, and I work for charity. So they're trying, I was like, look at this person. I like totally like bent over backwards for them. And they're complaining about $3 and something cents in sales tax. And then I had to, like you said, I had to reel myself back and be like, this $3 and something cents should not get me upset. Like I had to pull back. So that's really good advice, man.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. So I really appreciate you coming on and things like that. We definitely got to do this again sometime in the future. For everyone that wants to know, Greg's YouTube channel is below. I really appreciate I really like the shark bites. I was checking all that stuff out today. Definitely keep doing that. Oh, you want to talk about the app real quick, the Chrome extension?
Sure. Been working on a Chrome extension. I've actually got it out in the hands of about 5 or 6 people. For anybody that does online arbitrage or retail arbitrage, it's currently working with Walmart.com. So you have to be in a Chrome browser. You go to Walmart, you drill down into a product that you want to potentially source. Say I'm looking at a Spider-Man action figure, and it's just regular price. It's $19.99. Well, if I want to pull comps on eBay or pull comps on Amazon, or look at BrickSeek, or look at Camel, or any of that, I've got to search by the title, and the title may not be good. It may not be exact on any of those platforms. And also you don't see the UPC anywhere on the screen. So you drill down into this product, you click the little button up in the top right-hand corner, and it pulls up a little pop-up screen in the top right, and it generates links directly to the eBay solds, the eBay actives, the Amazon listing. If you're gated in it, it will link directly to the form on Amazon's site if you're already signed in, to allow you to ungate, either add it to your inventory or to request, to be ungated. it pulls the UPC out of the Walmart website and builds all those links. So
Oh, that's great.
hoping to have that released by the end of the month. It's out there right now, and we're just trying to go through some testing. So it's called iProfit IQ is the name of it.
iProfit IQ. Cool. I'm definitely going to check that out. So how do you get the data? Are you scanning a UPC, or how does the data get acquired?
The data, well, right now, the next release, the next big version, the pro version it'll go off and use the Amazon API to pull the actual Amazon data directly into the plugin, into the extension.
Right.
Same thing with eBay. Right now, all it does is pulls that UPC out of the Walmart website and builds a little small web page up in that little upper right-hand corner pop-up window. And then you just click off and you go to when you click on a link, it's going to take you to the Amazon's website. When you click on the eBay link, it's going to take you to eBay's website. So it's all happening off-site.
So it's all through the Chrome extension.
Yeah, I can show it real quick if you want me.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Let me.
This is pretty interesting. Now, there's no way to use it on your phone and scan with your camera or anything, right?
No.
Gotcha. Do you have I forget what they called it. Is it Scan Station? Hold on a second. I know it. Scoutly, a seller tool. That's what I have for Amazon.
Let me find a couple of products real quick, and I'll share my.
Yeah. Do you know how to screen share? Because I don't know how to do that on my end. Okay, cool.
Give me just a second.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready, and I'll put the screen share on you, or the screen, so when I talk, it doesn't move the screen around, because that can happen. Yeah, that sounds interesting. So it basically just pulls all the API information from all the different sources, and then just correlates it, or kind of gathers it all in one place. That's really cool.
Yep. All right, let me go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and try and share. Let me make sure I got the right screen.
Cool. That Batman thing.
All right, so are we able to see that?
Yep, we see it.
Go ahead and lock it on me, because I don't know if I'm seeing you. If is everybody able to see?
Yeah. So you're locked right now, so everyone sees you, and we see your screen.
All right, so I'm at Walmart, and I've just drilled down into this ImagineX DC Friends transforming back cave. I can't see a UPC. You know, I could go off and grab the title and search it, but all I do is I've got this little red box with a white P in it. iProfit. This is beta version 104.
Yep.
Pulls up, gives me the title, the UPC from the website, how much Walmart's asking for it. I can link directly to the Amazon search based on that UPC. I can link directly to the Ungate add item request. So here, if I click on Amazon, it takes me directly into the Amazon with the offering, so I can do my quick research there. Go back here. I can go directly to BrickSeek search based on that UPC. Check inventory at different locations if I want to. It's really a convenience thing. eBay sold.
Yeah, it's like an online arbitrage dream come true.
Yep. So ultimately, I wanted to pull all that information directly into this screen right here. You can pull the Keepa chart.
Oh,
do all, any kind of research you need to do on this item to determine whether it's a good buy or not.
That's great. So this app, or this extension, I should say, is it going to be free? And then you said something about a pro version. Do you want to explain the difference between the two, or your kind of roadmap?
I haven't really decided yet.
Okay.
I've got some people out there testing this version. This will probably be a paid version. I'm guessing in the less than $10 one time. The pro version is going to be where it pulls all the data in and actually gives all the information right here that you would need to make that decision. And there's some cost involved to pull that from the Amazon API. So I've got to figure out what would be there and what would be a good model for a monthly subscription for that.
Right. So it'll pull all the information in graphs and things like that, and data like numbers and things.
I don't know about the graphs, but it's going to pull in, like on the eBay side, how many items are active, how many items are sold in the last so many handful of days, what the sell-through rate is. Amazon would pull in how many sellers there are, what the sales rank is, things like that. Whatever information you would need to make a decision on whether it's a good buy or not.
That is absolutely amazing. So when you get that ready to roll out, let me know. I'll make a video about it so we can get you some more people to put their eyes on this. For me, I don't do a lot of online arbitrage, so there'd probably be like very rare instances where I would use this, but there's so many people that do online arbitrage, and I think this is like the dream come true to have all that data.
Oh yeah, I've already got a lot of interest. I did a video on it a while back, and I've got about between 60 and 75 people waiting on it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, because to my knowledge, there's nothing like this that pulls all that data into one spot.
So
cool, man. That's great. Yeah, keep me posted on that. I'll make a video for sure. So, hey, go ahead.
Yeah, Jackie's in. I'm sorry, I hadn't really been watching the chat. Jackie Treasure Hustler is asking what it was called. It's called I Profit IQ is the name of it.
Awesome.
It's not out there. If anybody wants to try it, email me. You can hit me up at landsharkpicker@gmail.com. I can get you a beta version of it so you can try it.
That sounds great. Do you mind if I put that in my description for this video?
Sure.
All right, cool. Any last words before we part?
I hate to steal somebody's, but it's the dang truth. Oh gosh, now I open my mouth. What's his dang name? Took all of his videos offline.
It's not Mushroom Guy, is it?
No, has the cameras and all that.
Oh, I don't know. Is it? It's not. Is it one of the YouTuber resellers?
Yeah, he was real. I can't even think of his name, but he always said his quote was "Pick well and list often."
Huh? No,
if you're picking good items and you're listing them often, sales take care of themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
So everyone, I can't think who that was.
It's all right. You know, what's funny is right when we end this broadcast, you'll remember. That's how it works. Yeah. So everyone, Craig's
Crazy Picker Life. Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't think of his name.
There you go. Treasure. I don't know. She's like she knows everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're out your way.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Craig, it was good talking to you, man. Like I said, his link is going to be below. I'm going to go and put his iProfit IQ email below. I'll do that in just a second. But once again, Craig, thanks very much for tuning in or coming on. I really appreciate it. Your time is very valuable. And so I definitely, yeah, man, we got to do this again. Once you get your stuff out of beta, we'll do another show where you can go over everything.
Okay. And I hope to have that done in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Still just been testing, but yeah, I appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
All right, buddy. Have a good night and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys.